Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This video is not going to be a movie review. I decided to do another end of year video. So I just recently did a top 10 2017 horror video. So a lot of people found that interesting. So I thought I would do a 2017 honourable and dishonourable mentions. So these are movies that didn't make my top 10 but I want to talk about. So there's got categories from most underrated, overrated, worst film of the year, biggest surprise and most disappointing. So I know that this is going to create a little bit of controversy because maybe there are some films in this list that you love that I didn't love, and this is all about opinion. So if you want to abuse me for having my own opinion, that's your right, but for me, I don't really care about that. I just say what I think, and I know a lot of people out there are interested in what I think, and so I'm going to get straight into it before I make this video too long. And so we're going to start off with the most underrated category, then we're going to go overrated, biggest surprise, disappointing, and we're going to finish it off with the worst. And so to start off, the most underrated film of 2017 is The Snowman. So The Snowman is a Joe Nesbo adaptation, and maybe it's because I love the book that I could actually understand the film a little bit more, is that yes, it does have a lot of parts that are missing that don't explain what's going on, but if you've read the book, you kind of know what's going on naturally, and so I didn't really feel as though I suffered as much as a lot of other people did. But what I find very interesting about this movie, and the reason why it's so underrated, is no one really talks about the positives that the film has. The positives is that it's atmospherically brilliant. I thought the atmosphere plays a character of its own, and there were some genuinely creepy scenes in this movie that really get you off guard, and I thought that Michael Fassbender's role as Harry Hooler, who is the detective, he's a very interesting detective, and although Harry Hooler isn't as interesting in the movie as he is in the book, I still thought Michael Fassbender did a good job in that. And so it's not a great film by any means, but it's certainly not the disaster a lot of people making it out to be, so that's why The Snowman gets the most underrated film of 2017. So my most overrated film of 2017 is where I think the controversy is going to come from, because a lot of people had this movie in their top 10 list of 2017, but I thought this movie was actually quite decent up until the end. And so the most overrated film of 2017 belongs to Gerald's Game. So Gerald's Game is a Stephen King adaptation. As I said, it's a very atmospheric film, a very uneasy movie, but then at the end it has to explain everything and ruin all the good work that it had. And so a lot of people love this film to no end, but for me, I don't share the love. I think it's greatly overrated, and it's just not the movie that I was hoping it would be. I just thought it needed a great ending, and unfortunately with Stephen King's stories, he doesn't really finish stories off that well, is that he creates something that is such a powerful platform, but the ending, it leaves a lot to be desired. And so that's the reason why I didn't really love Gerald's Game, and that's the reason why this movie gets my most overrated film of 2017. The biggest surprise in 2017 was definitely that. I wasn't expecting to like this movie at all when I saw it on Netflix. I thought, okay, this looks like just a typical teenage film, and it was going to be very disposable. But at the end of the day, I actually ended up really liking it, and that is The Babysitter. So The Babysitter is a very violent film. It's a very nasty. It was a lot nastier than I thought it would be, and it was actually quite funny as well. And so it does elevate itself past the normal sort of teenage horror film, and so that's the reason why it's the biggest surprise, is because I was expecting to really hate it, but I ended up really enjoying it, and it's certainly a movie I would happily recommend to anyone out there. So that's the biggest surprise, The Babysitter. The most disappointing film, now this is disappointing to say the least, because when I saw the trailer I thought this looked absolutely fantastic, and I was excited for the longest period of time. Then when I finally saw it, I just thought it was rubbish, and that belongs to The Monster Project. Is that this is a found footage film. It was basically mythology behind werewolves, vampires and demons, and so I thought, okay, this is going to be really good, but it was just poorly executed, and it just turned out to be an absolute rubbish film. And so when you expect something to be a lot better than it is, you come away from it just having a really empty feeling, and that's exactly what I had with this movie, and that's the reason why it makes my most disappointing. And then we finish up with the worst film of the year. Now this is a movie that I actually struggled with to come up with, because there's a lot of really bad movies, but once again I expected a lot more from this film, and it actually turned out to be a lot worse than The Monster Project, and that is Let Her Out. So this is a movie that did have a very interesting idea, but once again the amateurish quality of the film really does dampen the enjoyment to a point where I just clocked out by halfway. And it's that, yes, it was interesting, but the way it was shot, the way it was acted, I just thought, okay, I'm not really getting into this film whatsoever, and it just becomes a complete mess by the end of the movie. It does have some violent moments, but there's no moment in the movie that really makes it that memorable. In fact, I've pretty much forgotten what the whole film was about, and so that just shows you how disappointing and ultimately bad Let Her Out is, and that's the reason why I've put this movie as the worst film of 2017. So that's it for this video. It's only a shorter video, but these are films that I really wanted to discuss outside of the top 10. If you want proper reviews of these movies, please go and see. I've actually reviewed them, so please look through my library and actually find those reviews. And so, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. As I said, hopefully you've enjoyed 2017, and let's hope that 2018 are going to produce a lot more movies that are going to be very memorable, and hopefully less of the crappy sort of movies. Alright guys, that's it for now. Until next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.